Natural disasters are a fact of life, but often underestimated. In order to reduce security risks linked to economic and environmental challenges, we need to take a comprehensive approach where the differences of individual communities are addressed. The Organisation for Security and Cooperation in Europe is bringing together experts, industry and communities to talk about these issues throughout 2014, and through both dialogue and practical action help reduce and prevent the risks of natural disasters.
Natural disasters have often broad implications that may be also cross-boundary implications. Disasters can affect local communities, they can affect countries, they can affect regions. And therefore we need to have in place tools that allow us to address them both nationally, and this needs strong national coordination, and regionally. And this requires policies that include a strong cooperation and coordination of international efforts, so coordination between neighboring countries and coordination among international actors.
Natural disasters do not respect borders, which makes it vital to consider transboundary factors when implementing preventive measures and when building resilience.
First challenge is, of course, you have to know with whom you're working. You have to know your neighbors, or you have to know the countries that are affected, as we have it now in Balkans. You have to know the risks, you have to know the needs on the ground, and you need a counterpart. You need somebody, be it authorities or an organization, to work with, because you come from outside, so you need sort of a hook where you can start working. And then, of course, you need the readiness, the preparedness and the willingness of accepting international aid. The main challenge is actually more on the relationship and having a partner, and a partner that accepts you and you know with whom you're working.
Well, I think international cooperation, transboundary cooperation, by putting together different means, economic means and know-how, enhance the capacity of populations, whether they're local or regional or even national, too.
In the Pacific, the challenges are very different than in the Central Americas, for example. And also within the OSCE region, the challenges are very different. If you go to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, the challenges are very different than in Italy, for example. So how do you know and plan across borders? And this is where we think that OSCE can do more through this forum to help both prepare and then assist when this has happened.
The OSCE, through its field operations, but also through its partnership within the Environmental and Security Initiative, ENFSEC, would be well placed to assist participating states in this cross-border effort in disaster risk management. And you may also have heard of the OSCE self-assessment tool for nations to increase preparedness for cross-border implications of crises, which is a guide that was published just last year, and we believe it's a very useful tool that we would like to promote through trainings.
Many countries have a long experience in dealing with large wildfires. Other countries don't. These large fires may occur only in very long distances, like every 10 or 20 years. That means that in some countries there are no firefighters or command personnel that has experience in dealing with a large fire emergency situation. But other countries have that experience almost every year, and they may share their knowledge and their expertise with those countries that are not so often subjected to this issue. So all together, coordination and cooperation by sharing experiences, sharing responsibility is quite mandatory in the case of many natural disasters.
Now, the whole process starts by listening, by people sharing their stories and sharing, you know, very compelling narratives of what their experiences have taught them. You know, what's the key issues and principles that's actually driving this? What are the solutions? What do they look like at the local level? And I think just to bring a very diverse group of people together to just share ideas and to listen to one another, it has to be the starting point.
Speaking about the role of the OSCE Center in Bishkek in disaster risk reduction, I can tell you that at the moment we're implementing a couple of projects at both at national level and at the local level. And what I really think is important in addressing natural disasters is that at the OSCE Center in Bishkek we were able to mobilize the local community, to incorporate the voices of the most vulnerable population to be included in our projects, to develop a project that are a bottom-up perspective and use a holistic approach and bring together various actors who implement complementary activities in addressing such complex problems.
As a center, we did activities on disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptations. We already had open consultations for the farmers in the local level, describing them what kind of new technologies, green technologies you can use in agriculture sector, how to use it, what will be the plus for the environment, what will be the plus for your harvest, to have the new green technologies in agriculture sector.
Well, I would like to say that whenever we come to preparatory meetings to the Economic Forum, we're always looking for some new solutions, interesting ideas that could be transported into our countries. OSCE PCU, the office is functioning in Ukraine, and we do always respond to needs of local government. Sometimes we have requests for which we do not have local expertise, and we're looking for some expertise elsewhere. In this particular case, the study visit that was organized here today is quite useful because we learned about the different interesting natural disaster management systems which could be applied in Ukraine as well.
Armenia is a mountainous country, and what I saw here has much common with Armenia. And I will share this experience with the Ministry of Emergency Situation, and I think the OSCE provides very good framework for cooperation of participating states, and in this particular case for Armenia and Switzerland, to share good practices and to move forward towards meeting common challenges.
First of all, we have observed how the Swiss government puts efforts in order to eliminate, avoid, or to ease disastrous effects, and how it works with natural disaster. Moreover, we have learned here in a field visit how Italian side and Swiss side mutually cooperate in operating and managing the tunnel. So this is a very good experience in terms of implementing some ideas, core ideas of working principles in our region too, because we also have some transnational mountains areas.
At the end of the day, we saw technological advances of Switzerland in combating such kind of dangers as avalanche, and I think altogether we were able to see concepts, policies, and new technologies serving communities, Switzerland, also cross-border country, Italy, and all people of Europe, in order to make life enjoyable and free from risks of natural disasters.
We want to bring our activities on the regional and national level now onto the local level. With the help of Aarhus centers in 14 countries, in total 56 Aarhus centers, and they are very active to inform citizens about environmental issues in their countries. Now with this new project supported by the Swiss chairmanship, we will work with the Aarhus centers to bring information and training to the local communities.
The Aarhus process is very simple. public participation. So that means people are having the opportunity to get information about issues that are affecting them. They have the opportunity to know more about it. They have the opportunity to speak about it. And they, if nothing is happened, they have the opportunity to go into court about it. So the issue of the Aarhus is access to information, public participation, and access to justice.
I think you need a robust framework to address these security challenges stemming from natural disasters. In this regard, we are party to the Environment and Security Initiative, SOSCE. The last 10 years, this was a success story, and we hope to extend our work within the initiative.
I hope that this process will also recognize that environmental emergencies are an increasing threat, that we need to strengthen disaster management capacities throughout the region, and that by working together to face these common threats and to increase our preparedness, these will actually build confidence among the states that are members of the OSCE region.